let's review what we learned so far using Python and the Scikit-learn library. You can install these now, but we'll still do a bit of JavaScript to prepare the data for Python. So if you plan to follow along, make sure you have the code from last time, or get my version from GitHub. And see you later, alligator. Get it? Because alligators are reptiles like pythons and no.
Gonna code, debug and have fun. Coding with Radu, coding with Radu. Gonna prototype and design. Coding with Radu, coding with Radu. Let's code now.
In JavaScript, we use JSON a lot, like here where we're writing our features. It's possible to do this also in Python, but more common there is to use CSV files. So let's go to utils.js and implement a function to convert our samples to CSV format. Let's call it toCSV, and it will take as parameters the headers of the data, the name of the features, and the samples array. It will output a string, and let's initialize this with the headers separated by comma and then a new line like this. We then loop through all the samples, and we do the same thing for each sample, separating the feature values by a comma as well, and a new line at the end. Let's return this string, save the file, and in feature extractor.js, let's go where we are writing the training data and write a new code for outputting it in CSV form. We write the file, and we'll have a separate constant for the CSV file. We output to CSV our feature names, but also the label. Notice here I'm sending the first parameter a concatenation between the feature names and the label. So it will have 3 columns, not just 2. And similarly, the second parameter, I'm going to remap training to contain the point and the label of that point. Let's close this, copy this, and do the same thing for testing as well, where we're writing the testing JSON file. Beneath it, I'm going to paste this and rename to testing CSV, and training here to testing as well. Now save the file and let's define these CSV constants. I'm just going to copy this training and testing JSON constants from here below and rename this to training CSV, testing CSV, and the extensions here will be CSV and CSV. Let's save the file, and in our terminal now we can run our feature extractor again. And if we look in the dataset, 2 new files have appeared, testing CSV, training.csv, and if we open them, they look like this. This kind of format is very common when working in Python. Actually, even more common would be to replace here the label names with a number, an index for the label, but we'll leave it like this. Now, let me close these from here, and let's start working with Python. To do that, I'm going to create a new folder, Python, and inside this folder I will create a file called knn.py. We'll re-implement the k-nearest neighbor in Python this time, using libraries. We begin by opening the training CSV file from data for reading. Let's read the lines and let's print to see what form we get this in. I'm going to be testing in the terminal. Let me go out of this node folder and inside the Python directory, and let's run this script by typing python knn.py. And we get this array where each item is a row represented as a string. The new line character is also there. Let's check to see how long this array is. Yeah, that looks about right. Now let's parse this data in a more usable format. It's common to refer to the data as capital X in Python, like this, and for the labels as Y. These are two empty arrays, and we're going to populate them by looping through our lines. But I'm going to start at 1, because I want to skip the headers. Like so. Now we are going to split by the comma and start appending values into X. We're going to append an array with the feature values, so we'll exclude the last entry here, which is the label. We also have to convert these values into float. By default they're strings. So we can write float conversion of the row of j for j in range the length of the row -1. We can close this, and then to the y we append the label, the last value in this row after the split. But as I mentioned previously, it's more useful to have these as numbers, so I'm going to remap these using a classes object, you'll see, of the row of -1. This is a quick way to refer to the last item in Python. So this classes here is going to be an object that I'm going to define here at the top. And it's just going to say that for car, use a value of 0, for fish, use a value of 1, for house, use a value of 2, for tree, bicycle, 4, guitar, 5, pencil, 6, and the clock, 7. In Python, objects like this are called dictionaries. Now if I'm going to save this and rerun the script, we get an error here because car comes with a \n at the end. So let's fix this by stripping this string here. It removes white space. Let's save, restart the script, and no errors this time, but we just get the print from earlier. Let's remove this and print something else. Maybe we can print the value of the X array, but we could just print the first 10 items like this, so we don't overload the terminal. Let's save this, restart, and this is what we get. If we look in the data to compare in the dataset training CSV, they do seem to match with the first 10 values from here. Let's print also the Y value here. Save, restart the script, and these look good as well, going from car to clock, which is a 7, and then back to 0, 1, and so on. Now let's remove this and do our k-nearest neighbor classification. I will import from the Scikit-learn neighbors the k-neighbors classifier and instantiate this like so, where we can pass how many neighbors we want to use. In the web app we used 50, so let's set here n neighbors to 50. And there are many possible parameters here for all kind of variants. But to get similar behavior as in our web app, I'm going to pass the brute force algorithm and uniform weights. We can then fit our data to this KNN object and start testing. It's really that easy. But we need to read the testing data as well, and instead of just writing this all over again, I'm going to extract this as a function. Let's call this read feature file, given a file path like this. Let's rename this with the file path and indent everything inside. Indentation in Python is very important. And return here a tuple with x and y. Now here we can read our training data using the new function. So we have the x and y to pass to the fit, and read the testing data next. I'm going to store in the same variables here. We can then calculate the accuracy of our model with score of x and y, and let's print it in the terminal. I'm going to save this, rerun the script, and there it is.
Did you follow along? Great. Please like this video if you learned something today and share it with others so they can learn as well. And if you got stuck somewhere, ask and we'll figure it out. You can also take my version from GitHub and compare. Python can do much more than this. Try installing matplotlib and use it to display the feature values. Try customizing it the way you want. Can you make it display the decision boundaries as well? Share your code with me and I'll showcase it in a future video. Now the course will take a short break. Meanwhile, do your homework and reflect on what you learned. Next time we start phase 2, where we bring the accuracy to a whole new level. See you guys.